Vayunitai Gaura Radheshyam Japo Hare Krishna Hare Ram. Vayunitai Gaura Radheshyam Japo Hare Krishna Hare Ram. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhushka Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvamam Deva Deva. Om Hajanjana Timirandasya Jananjana Salakaya Chakshuru Militandina Tasmai Shri Urave Namam. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Book 1, Discourse 10. Srimad Bhagavatam. Sri Krishna departure to Dwarka. Shaunaka Uvacha. Having got rid of the ruffians who sought to rob him of his lawful heritage, how did Yudhishthira, the foremost of pious rulers, proceed to rule his kingdom with his younger brothers, and what did he accomplish later? Averse as he was to the gratification of his sense? 2. Sutta continue. Having revived the race of Kuru that had been consumed by fire of internecine feud, even as the wildfire produced by the rubbing of bamboo steams against one another consumes a whole forest of bamboos, and established Yudhishthira on his throne. The Almighty Sri Hari Krishna, the promoter of the world, rejoiced at heart. 3. Having shaken off his infatuation by force of the wisdom that had dawned on him as a result of his hearing the teachings of Bhishma and the exhortation of Lord Achyuta Sri Krishna, Yudhishthira ruled over the whole earth, stretching as far as the ocean, like Indra, enjoying, as he did, the protection of Sri Krishna and the loyal submission of his younger brothers. 4. The god of rain poured down copious showers. The earth yielded all that was desired, while cows that had large udders gladly sprinkled the stalks with milk. 5. Rivers, seas, mountains, trees, and creepers and other herbs and plants all bore him abundant products in due season. 6. Living beings had not worries on physical ailment, nor afflictions of any kind, whether brought about by a wrathful providence, any fellow being, or by one's own self, in the form of bodily or mental suffering, at any time whatsoever, so long as Yudhishthira, who regarded none as his enemy, reigned as king. 7, 8. After spending some months at Hastinapura for the consolation of his friends and relatives, as well as for the satisfaction of his sister, Subhadra, Jai Subhadra, wife of Arjuna, Sri Hari, Sri Krishna, asked leave of King Yudhishthira to return home and permit by him. He embraced him and bowed to him and embraced or greeted in return by others. mounted his chariot. 8, 9, 10. Shubhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, and Uttara, the daughter of King Virata, and even so Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Jujutsu, the only surviving son of Dhritarashtra born of Vaishya wife, Kripacharya, born in the line of the sage Gautama, Nakula and Sahadeva, the twin-born half-brothers of Yudhishthira, Bhimashena and Arjuna and Satyavati, Bhishma's stepmother, and other ladies, almost faint with sorrow, unable to bear separation from the Lord. 11. A wise man who has abjured evil company through the fellowship of saints cannot even afford to forge the privilege of listening to his sweet glories being sung by others, having once had the opportunity to hear them. 12. How then could the Pandavas, the son of Pritha, bear separation from the Lord, on whom they had bestowed their mind and heart, having had the privilege not only of seeing him at close quarters, touching his person and conversing with him, but also of reposing, sitting and dining with him? Jai Hari. 13. Regarding him with unwinking eyes, bound as they were by ties of affection to him, they all hurried to and fro to fetch parting presents for him, their heart running after him. 14. As Sri Krishna, son of Devaki, was about to depart from the palace, the ladies who were bound to him by ties of kingship restrained their tears of affection from trickling down, anxious as they were lest any harm might come to him through such shedding of tears, which is regarded as unpropitious at the time of parting from a beloved friend or relation. Tabors, conches, kettle drums, lutes, cymbals, trumpets, dunduris, drums, gongs, and other musical instruments sounded, as also dunduvis, another type of big drums. 16. Going up to the top of their mansions in order to have a look at Sri Krishna, the ladies of the Kuru race rained flowers on him, greeting him with smiling looks, through mingled feeling of affection and bashfulness. 17-18. The thick-haired Arjuna, the favorite of Sri Krishna, held over his most beloved friend his white umbrella, which was bordered with strings of pearls and had a handle of precious stones, while Uddhava and Satyaki held a pair of most wonderful chouris, girt with showers of flowers on the way. Sri Krishna, the Lord of the Madhus, shone brilliantly. Jai Ho. 19. Everyone were heard true benedictions pronounced by the Brahmanas, which were in suit to the Lord as viewed in his unqualified absolute aspect, but were quite appropriate to him in his qualified or personal form. 20. Then began a talk which ravished the ears and hearts of all among the women of Hastinapura, the capital of the Lord of the Kurus, who had riveted their heart on Sri Krishna of excellent renown. 21. Verily, he is the same eternal person who abides in his singular undifferentiated self even during the night of universal dissolution, prior to the manifestation of the three gunas, modes of Prakriti. When the individual souls retire into God, the universal spirit, and when all the forces of creation, the Mahat and its evolutes, too lie dormant in the unmanifests. 22. It was he who, with the intention of endowing with a form and name the spirit who has neither, then inspired his Prakriti, which deludes the Jivas, who are identical in essence with him, and which, impelled by his own energy, the time spirit, is disposed to create and reveal the Vedas and other scriptures. 23. Indeed, he is the same Supreme Spirit whose reality in this world is perceived by seers who have subdued their senses and fully control their breath. With a mind yearning for his sight and cleansed of all impurities through devotion, for it is he alone who can truthfully cleanse our heart, which cannot be so purified by any other means such as yoga. 24. Again, O friend, he is the same Supreme Lord whose sacred stories have been sung again and again in the Vedas and other esoteric scriptures by seers like Maharshi Vyasadev, that have expounded profound truths, and who in his own sportful ways create, maintains, and reabsorbs the universe all by himself without any material, and yet does not set and attach to the same. 25. Whenever kings whose intellect is clouded by tamas, ignorance, live by unrighteousness, verily it is he who, by recourse to the quality of pure sattva, reveals in himself the divine attributes of omnipotence, etc., as well as truthfulness, rightness, compassion, and superhuman activity, and assumes various forms from age to age for the good of the world. Jai Ho. 26. Oh, how supremely praiseworthy is the race of Yadu, that have been honored by this Supreme Person, the Lord of Sri. Through his descent therein, and oh, how supremely sacred is the forest associated with the name of the demon Madhu, the area of brush near about the city of Mathura, that has been graced by him through his ramblings. 27. Ah, the city of Kushasthali, Dwarka, overshadows the fame of heaven and brings merit and renown to the earth by its association. For the people of that city always behold their Lord Krishna casting his smiling looks on them whenever he graciously moves out of his palace. 28. Surely God Almighty, who is no other than Sri Krishna, must have been truly propitiated in some previous birth through fasts, ablutions in sacred waters, oblations to the sacred fire, etc., by the ladies whose hands have been exposed by him, in that they constantly drink, O friend, the nectar from his lips, the very thought of which maddened the woman of brush. 29. Oh, how blessed are his 8 principal consorts, Rukmini, Jambavati, and Nagnajiti, and so on, who were carried off as prizes of valor at an assembly of suitors after vanquishing powerful princes like Shishupala, the king of Shedis, and those others who were brought in thousands after slaying the demon Naraka. 30. These women have brought sanctity to an exalted womanhood, which has not been hallowed freedom and is wanting in purity, inasmuch as their lotus-eyed Lord, whoever delight their heart by his charming behavior and loving presence, and never moves out of their mansions even for a moment. 31. While the women folk of Hastinapura were uttering such words, Sri Hari went his way, greeting them by his smiling looks. 32. Apprehending danger from his foes, King Yudhishthira dispatched out of sheer affections an army consisting of all the 4 limbs, elephants, horse, chariots, and foot soldiers, to serve as an escort for Sri Krishna, the slayer of the demon Madhu. 33. Sri Krishna, the grandson of Shurasena, now sent back the Pandavas, the descendant of Kuru, who, being strongly attached to him, had come very far, distressed at the thought of separation from him. He then departed for his own city, Dwarka, with his favorite companions, Uddhava, Satyaki, and others. 34 and 35. Passing through the territories of Kuru, Jangala, Panchala, and Surasena, Mathura, and the tract stretching along the banks of the Yamuna, as well as Brahmavarta and Kurukshetra, the kingdoms of Matsya, and Sarasvata, the territory stretching along the banks of the Sarasvati, and Marudanva, the Lord reached the kingdom of Anartha, Gujarat, lying beyond the principalities of Shauvira and Avira, O Saunaka, his horses being a bit exhausted by that time. 36. In every part of the country he passed through, the people residing there honor Sri Hari with presents of various kinds. At dusk he will alight from his chariot and, repairing to some lake, say his Sandhya prayers. Beautiful. Thus end the 10th discourse entitled Sri Krishna's Return to Dwarka, forming part of the story relating to the Naimisha forest in Book 1 of the great and glorious Bhagavata Puran, otherwise known as Paramahamsa Samhita. Sri Bhagavatam Purana ki jai, Sri Shukadeva Goswami ki jai, Sri Sutadeva Goswami ki jai, Sri Gokarna ki jai, Sri Vyasadeva ki jai, Sri Lakshmi Narayan ki jai, Sri Durga Mahadeva ki jai, Sri Saraswati Brahmadev ki jai, Sri Radheshyam Sundarlala ki jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki jai, Nitai Gaurango ki jai, Bhajanitai Gaur Radheshyam Japo Hare Krishna Hare Ram. Tomorrow we will read discourse 11, Right Royal Reception of Sri Krishna at Dwarka. To understand more and deeper What happens with Krishna, the Krishna that is outside Vrindavan? Because we know that Krishna never left Vrindavan. He's never going out of Braj, same as Radhika. But for the sake of Lila, Krishna is in somewhere another place, taking care of Kurukshetra, the epic of the Mahabharata. He's living in Dwarka, he's traveling here and there, and it's in somehow it's a complex topic to meditate on, because in one part we know that Krishna never leaves Braj. He's always present in Braj. He never go out. But at the same time, there are some leelas that are here on Srimad Bhagavatam, where Krishna is outside, is in Dwarka, in a different place, has different queens, etc. This is all part of the manifestation and expansions of Krishna, while he never left Vrindavan. At the same time, how interesting is that? Well, the history and the granthas are important to study and to learn, so that's why I am reading openly here this beautiful Srimad Bhagavatam. I hope you enjoy, and see you tomorrow at the same time. We will keep reading and reading. Vaya Nitai Gaur. Worship to Nitai Gaur, worship to Radheshyam. Vaya Nitai Gaur Radheshyam. Do japa of your Mahamantra deeply in your heart and in your mind. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Vaya Nitai Gaur Radheshyam. Japo Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. See you tomorrow.